Good morning, friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis, and while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, if you or a loved one has health challenges you would like help with, our number today, 844-236-6010, and we welcome your phone calls. We love hearing from you. If you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, if you've got questions about ingredients or formulations, or questions about our True Skin Health products or any skin health issues, 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side, and we have lines open for you. Lots of lines open for you, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, please go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, and think about joining the Bright Side Ben team. If you like being an entrepreneur, if you want to make a little bit extra money, supplemental income, if you want to make a primary income and work out of your home full time, that's the life of an entrepreneur. It's not for everybody, but if you think it's for you, if you feel, if you've been an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, if you like the idea of working out of your home and making your own hours and being your own boss and being in the health business as well, we can help you understand nutrition, understand health, understand sales, understand life. Longevity is much more than a company. It's more of a lifestyle. Call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470 for more information, or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com for a one-time $25 fee. A one-time $25 fee. You can be in business for yourself. You can also, if you don't want to be in business for yourself, you can also just get your products at the wholesale price for a one-time $25 fee. Click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or call 866-735-2470 for more info, 866-735-2470. Okay, so back to our talk about energy, energetics. We started off talking about the mitochondria. Before that, we were talking about fats. Before that, we were talking about fat processing, and all of this has to do with how the body utilizes and deals with energy. It's all about energy, folks. Health is the health and biology, and the health of the biosystem, I guess you could say, is really about energy, but not just energy. Organized energy, structured energy, energy that's in a shape, energy that's in a form. Energy that's in a form is information. Information is energy that's in a form. It's so important to understand the body is an informational system. When we're sick, it's noisy. There's actually a science called information science where they study all these various aspects, mathematical aspects and theoretical aspects and physics aspects of information. It's called information theory. And in information theory, the most important concept, the major point of information theory is that there's two aspects to energy. One is noise and the other is information. And they work against each other. Information structures noise. Noise destroys information. If the body's an informational system when it's healthy, It's noise when it's not healthy. The more noise you have, the sicker you are. The more organization we have, the healthier we are. So how does all this energy integrate itself with the body? Well, from a physical level, from a biophysical level, it comes in through food. And food itself is an energy system, and that food itself is either organized or not organized. If it's noisy food from an informational standpoint, and by the way, when I talk about noise and organization, it's actually literally noise and sound. If you had the right detecting mechanisms, you could hear food sing or not sing. You could hear the body sing or not sing. You could hear the universe sing or not sing. You can hear the planet sing or not sing. Because everything in our reality is either information or noise, and it correlates with sound. Anyway, when we're sick, we're noisy. When we're eating noisy food, we get noisy. When we eat food that's disorganized, it's noisy. We call that a processed food. Processed food is noisy food from an energetic standpoint. Fresh food, living food, or at least close to living food, or recently living food, fresh food, is highly organized relative to processed food. That's basically, in a nutshell, from an energetic standpoint, what the problem with how we eat is. We're eating food that is disorganized, that's noisy. In the body, there's special chemicals, special molecules that organize the food. We call those micronutrients. The vitamins and minerals, the essential nutrients that we take, are organizing elements. They should be in the food, and they are in the food, in organized food. When you eat a food, organized or not, that energy has to be released. And we have enzymes in the body that release the energy. Now, if you eat foods that have organization and enzymes, you are way ahead of the game. And that's why it's important to eat raw foods, or cook your foods as little as possible, or steam your foods. Now, sometimes you need to cook your foods a little bit because certain nutrients are released, so you don't want all raw foods, but you want a good proportion of your calories to be coming in from raw foods. I don't know, 60, 70%, a good proportion. There's no real way to know, but a lot of your calories should be coming in from raw foods. Not everything. I'm not all about, the raw food diet isn't great if you're just eating raw food, because you're not going to release certain proteins and other elements from fruits and vegetables that require a little steam or heat. So best bet is to get most of your calories from raw food and then slightly steam or slightly heat the rest of the food. Most of the food we eat today contains lots and lots of energy, but not the micronutrients and not the enzymes. The micronutrients are responsible for directing the energy into the right form. The micronutrients are what support the information nature of foods. You need the micronutrients so the body can make use of the energy. For most of us, that doesn't happen. For most of us, what's responsible for our obesity epidemic, our fatty liver disease epidemic, our overall poor health epidemic from a physical perspective is the ingestion of lots of energy without the micronutrients, and for that matter, without the enzymes. What's worse about these high energy foods is even though they don't contain the micronutrients and the enzymes that are required for us to optimally use the energy to run our bodies, to build our bodies, to think, to move, to fight diseases, to build our tissues. What's worse about these high energy foods that don't have the structuring properties that will allow us to utilize the food, that are noise, that are high energy without structure, that are noise versus information. What's worse about these is the brain is really happy with energy. The brain can run on energy, pure energy. The brain has a system that senses energy in food. It's called the reward system. And when we see food, or we get food that hits that reward system, we can't stop eating it. And food manufacturers know this. We become addicted to foods that have lots of energy, even if there's no micronutrients in it, because the reward center in the brain goes crazy. It loves high energy. It loves energetics because for a long time there wasn't a lot of energy in the environment, so we evolved to be really, really happy when energy came in, so we would continuously go for the energy. And food manufacturers know that good and well. And this is a huge, huge problem that we have to get control of as individuals because corporations aren't going to help us. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side, and we have lines open for you, and we want to hear from you. 844-236-6010. If you have a success story you'd like to share, if you have a comment, if you have a question about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you have any questions or comments about this whole discussion on energy and information and noise, which is sort of an interesting way of looking at health that you don't hear about every day. Health, disease being noise and health being information. If you have any questions or comments, love to hear what you have to say. Love to hear your thoughts. This is sort of a kind of a blend of various ideas, various scientific ideas that I've kind of mixed together in my head and put out, sort of combined in my own little idiosyncratic way, based on physics and biophysics and quantum physics and biochemistry and health and healing and my personal experience. If you have any comments, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side, and we're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com are three websites that you can go to for good health information, videos, blog posts, as well as all the longevity products. If you want to purchase any of the products you hear us recommend or advertise, you can click on the Join the Team link as well if you want to join the team and join me in my mission to help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program, how disease is optional in the sense that we have so much more control over it than we're taught and we're told. We are taught and told that we don't have control over the disease process, that it just happens. Go to the doctor when you're past 40 or 50 and tell them you got joint pain or something. They'll go, well, that's just what happens. You're just old. You're just getting older. That's just how it goes when you get old. There's nothing you could do about it. Oh, I have terrible pain, doc, in my ankle. Well, you're 45 years old. What do you expect? Go take some Motrin. Nothing we can do about it. It's not supposed to be that way. We're not supposed to fall apart the way we're falling apart. Aging is inevitable, of course. Death is inevitable, of course, but you want to do it gracefully. You don't want to fall apart. You don't want to disintegrate into noise. You want to maintain your organization as long as possible. And as your organization deteriorates, you want it deteriorating slowly, very slowly. And you don't want anything dramatic to happen. You don't want any massive breakdown or massive disintegration or massive deterioration of the organization into noise. And the way you prevent that from occurring, the way you avoid that from occurring is by prevention. You want to prevent it from happening. You can reverse it because the body is constantly structuring itself, but you want to prevent it. And if you're 30, you're young and you're listening to it, you're in your 30s, now is the time to get on a good nutritional supplement program. Now is the time to change the way you eat so you eat more organized food. Now is the time to start a workout program. By the way, exercise actually breaks down the body, creates noise, and then the body, if it's handled correctly, will restructure itself so that it is more organized. That's what bigger muscles are. That's what a stronger heart is. It's more organization than occurred before you exercise. That's the cool thing about exercise, is it creates noise, and then in response to that noise, if you handle it correctly with food and nutritional supplements, what ends up happening is the body restructures itself at a higher level of complexity. That's called complexity theory. Talked last segment about information theory and biology. Now you have complexity theory in biology. Complexity theory says systems become more complex when they're handled correctly. And that's what happens in the body with information. The body becomes more complex. That is healthier, stronger, bigger, better, and you do it partially, at least, with food and with nutritional supplements. Anyway, 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. So the primary need for the body is energy. The brain loves energy. The brain is not really looking for enzymes and micronutrition. The brain is looking for energy, at least at the level of reward. And when the brain gets energy, or it senses energies in the body, I should say, through the blood, it goes, yippee! It thinks it won the lottery. This is all the end result, this yippee sensation, this good feeling that we get, is a function of what's called the reward center in the brain. And the reward center in the brain is something we've known about for about 60 years or so. It was noticed that rats would go crazy if this little area in the brain, which is right behind it's right where your third eye would be, which is also very interesting. If you put your finger right where your third eye would be and could press into your brain, you'd touch this little kind of strip of tissue called the nucleus accumbens. And this nucleus accumbens, when it's stimulated with electrodes, they stick electrodes in a rat's nucleus accumbens in the brain, it will go crazy hitting a lever. It will hit this lever thousands of times an hour just to get a little burst of electricity in the nucleus accumbens. Anything that stimulates this reward center, we'll just call it the reward center, is going to be something that you don't want to stop doing. You know what a classic example of stimulating the reward center is when you complete small actions. You ever notice how you get addicted to opening up pistachio nuts? I love pistachios, and I'm going to keep eating those pistachios if I have to open them up with the shell. If I have to open them up, I'll keep eating them way past the point where I'm hungry. I'll eat them when I'm not even hungry, because there's something rewarding about opening up a pistachio shell. I know it sounds silly, but you're actually stimulating your nucleus accumbens when you open up a pistachio shell. You don't get addicted to pistachios when they're in the bag. They sell these shelled pistachios. You'll eat a few handfuls of those maybe, but they don't have the same addictive quality as when you're opening up a pistachio shell. Or sunflower seeds, same way. People get addicted to sunflower, doing the sunflower seed thing. What is that about? You're getting a hit of dopamine in your reward center every time you open up a sunflower seed. It seems silly, but that's how the system is wired. We go nuts. We can't stop when our reward system is activated. Any little movement that's completed will activate your reward center. Big projects that are completed will activate your reward center. Cleaning the kitchen will activate your reward center. Cleaning the garage. You ever notice how good it feels when you clean the garage, especially if it's been sitting around totally messy and disgusting to look at, and can't find anything in there, or your drawer in your desk or your closet or whatever. It's terrible to look at, and you say, I'm going to clean that closet, and you don't do it, and you don't do it, and you sit there and you look at it every day, and you say, I'm going to clean that closet tomorrow, I'm going to clean it tomorrow, and you hate it, and then one day you decide for whatever reason you're going to clean the closet, and then it's clean, and you feel awesome. That's the reward center. That's the actions of the reward center. Well, guess what? Energy does the same thing. In the world of food, energy is represented by sugar. Hello, that's why we can't stop eating sugar. It activates our reward center, and food companies know this. Starbucks knows this. Starbucks isn't about the caffeine, it's about the sugar. Companies make collectively make trillions of dollars, hundreds of trillions of dollars around the world probably, every year based on this idea of stimulating the reward center, of activating the reward center. When primitive man 10,000 years ago figured out he could break open grains and release the energy and make them easy to absorb, and the reward center was activated, oh my God, that changed the world. That completely changed history when they figured out how to do that. Life must have really sucked 10,000 years ago. You can only imagine how miserable life must have been 10,000 years ago. Everything died. You got in pain. A rock would hit your foot. You couldn't do anything except maybe take a little bit of herbs. Then they discovered they could release the energy from grains to activate the reward center, and all of a sudden you could feel great. Revolutionized the world, completely changed the world. We call that the agricultural revolution, and a case could be made that the beginnings of the deterioration of human health began right at that point in history. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number, and I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side, and thank you for joining us. I am Pharmacist Ben. Got open lines for you at 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you have questions, comments, success stories you'd like to share, a health challenge that you need help with, or if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on the longevity supplement program, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we have lines open for you, and we'll get your calls here as soon as we read a couple of stories from the news from the British Medical Journal. Fasting can reverse type 2 diabetes. I've said this for years, and this is so obvious to anybody who understands a little chemistry, a little bit of biochemistry, which does not apparently include your doctor. or the pharma or any representatives of the pharmacomedical model. They don't, I don't know if they don't understand it, but they don't really emphasize it. They don't leverage it. Biochemistry. They leverage something called clinical chemistry. Clinical chemistry is not biochemistry. This is a really important distinction that nobody ever makes. Clinical chemistry is the chemistry of the clinic. It's when you go in and you have your blood tested. It's when you go in and the doctor gives you a drug to lower your blood pressure or lower your cholesterol. That's clinical chemistry. Biochemistry is the chemistry of how the body really works in real life. Disease is not about the clinic. It's about the biosystem. It's about biochemistry, not clinical chemistry. If you understand biochemistry, it makes perfect sense that fasting would reverse type 2 diabetes. I don't need an article to show me this. Every once in a while, somebody will email me and they'll say, can you send me some clinical studies on cholesterol not being the cause of heart disease? I get these kinds of letters. Where's the clinical studies? I need to see some clinical studies. Do you have clinical studies? No, I don't need clinical studies. If you understand biochemistry, you don't need clinical studies. You don't need any studies to show that that heart disease is about breaks in the arteries. You just need to know the cholesterol patches up arteries as part of the repair mechanism of the body, repair system of the body. You just have to know that from a biochemical perspective, the purpose of cholesterol is to repair things. The purpose of plaques is to repair things. I don't need any studies to say that. So fasting can reverse type 2 diabetes. This was based on diabetics, a study that was done on diabetics. Diabetics who'd been taking insulin and medication for high blood pressure and cholesterol levels were drug-free after 10 months of intermittent fasting, according to researchers from the University of Toronto. Well, great. I could have told you that. They should just listen to the bright side. They don't need to have studies. We talk about this every day. I've been talking about it for years. Diabetes is an eating disease. Period. End of story. Period. Stop. Diabetes is an eating disease, and it is the leading cause of death. When you factor in, and by the way, I don't like calling it, you know, if you've heard this program before, I say diabetes, but really we should say dysglycemia. Diabetes is the official designation, but we don't need to know that. Messed up blood sugar, period. It's not diabetes. Messed up blood sugar is the leading cause of death in this country. When you factor in its connection to cancer and you factor in its connection to heart disease. If you look at the statistics, they'll say heart disease is the leading cause of death, cancer is the second leading cause of death, diabetes is the third leading cause of death. Well, because of the relationship of heart disease to dysglycemia and cancer to dysglycemia, messed up blood sugar is the leading cause of death and misery. It's all about eating. I am not a foodie, but I cannot deny the fact that eating is it's the most powerful leverage point we have over the structure of the body, over whether the body shows up as diseased or not. So fasting can reverse type 2 diabetes. Okay, so now we know, officially, according to the British Medical Journal, peer-reviewed, awesome, really, really very important peer-reviewed clinical journal. It's not a scientific journal, it's a clinical journal. I say it's not scientific because clinical is about epidemiology. Clinical studies are about statistics. That means epidemiology is just basically statistics. All right. So if you have type 2 diabetes, control the way you eat and include fast. And as a matter of fact, that leads us to our second article from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience. Is keto the answer to dementia and Alzheimer's? A ketogenic diet could help you keep mentally sharp in old age. This is according to Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience. Research carried out from an academic team from the University of Kentucky has determined that there are positive indicators to what could happen to Alzheimer's disease. Researchers found that the ketogenic diet could help combat a range of other health problems too, such as epilepsy, Parkinson's, and autism. All are brain issues too. Going keto is the way to go. The ketogenic diet is the way we're supposed to eat. That is very low calorie, very low. That's the part people miss, by the way, in the ketogenic diet. Everybody knows the high fat part. But what we miss is the low-calorie part. If you go low-calorie and high-fat, high percentage of fat, low-calorie and high percentage of those low calories by fat, that's not a lot of fat. That's not a lot of anything. Not a lot of fat, not a lot of carbs. The ketogenic diet is about half as much calories as we're used to eating, or less. We're used to eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, somewhere in there. We really need 1,000 to 1,500. You can do fine on 1,000 calories a day. Or many of us are getting 4,000 calories, and most of that is coming in as pure energy without the micronutrients. All right, let's do one more here, and then we'll get your calls. 844-236-6010. From the journal Clinical and Experimental Metastasis, fish oils slow breast cancer and stop it spreading. Yesterday we talked about fish oils as anti-inflammatories. They're now being recommended as alternatives to anti-inflammatory drugs because they're non-toxic, recommended by doctors, that is. Now we read from the Journal of Clinical and Experimental Metastasis, the spreading of cancer. Women with breast cancer should include fish oils in their diet. Omega-3 oils stop cancer spreading and growing, new research has discovered. In tests on laboratory mice, those fed an omega-3 diet had a higher T cell count and less inflammation than other mice that were instead fed an omega-6 rich diet, which is the kind of diet most of us are subsisting on, that cause inflammation in the body. Tumors also took longer to develop in the omega-3 group, and sometimes the cancers never appeared at all, suggesting the oils have a protective effect. Now keep in mind, fish oil is not an essential oil. Fish, omega-3s that come from fish, DHA and EPA are the big ones, are not essential. The body can make them. Nonetheless, you can dose yourself strategically with them for health benefit. In fact, these things are so important for health and so metabolically and biochemically active that doctors will tell you not to take them before you go into surgery. I'm not buying that. I'm saying to take them before you go to surgery. You want to take all your nutritional supplements before surgery because your body will heal much faster despite what your surgeon tells you. Now, I'm not telling you not to do what your doctor said. You got to follow your doctor's orders. If your doctor tells you to do something and you have voluntarily agreed to participate in a doctor medical strategy, you really owe it to the doctor to participate. It's not fair to the doctor who is trying to help, as misguided as he may be. He's still trying to help you. It's not fair to him to go behind his back and do things without telling him. He needs to know. So if you are going to take supplements in against doctor's orders, at least let him know. Don't do things without letting your doctor know. That's not fair. However, it's your right to do whatever you want to do to your body, especially when it comes to nutritional supplements. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open. William's been holding for a very long time. Good morning, William. What's up? Welcome to the bright side.
Hello. Thank you for getting back with me so fast last night when I texted you.
Okay.
Honored to speak with you.
I appreciate that. Hey, listen, I hate to do this to you. I know you've been holding on for a long time, but we got a commercial. Can you hang on just a couple more minutes longer, and we'll get to you when you come back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, William. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lines open, 844-236-6010. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this.
Bags under...
Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. Lines open, 844-236-6010. I am Pharmacist Ben, and we're talking to William in Missouri. Good morning, William. What's going on, bro?
Good morning. I am calling for a female friend who has migraines that can last for 2 or 3 days at a time.
Got it. Okay. Yes, I got your text yesterday. Thanks for texting, and thanks for calling as well. So migraines are definitely a bummer, obviously. I've talked to people who had migraines for years, literally the same migraine. I'm not talking about just the condition, the same migraine for years. It's absolutely awful. The only thing the doctors can do is give you pain pills. They don't really work. Migraine headaches need to be regarded as a sign of a food problem or an estrogen problem. When I say food problem, it can be the wrong kind of food or it can be blood sugar related. And when I say estrogen problem, typically that also involves the digestive system because of how we clear out estrogen. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start to track your migraines. And you want to link them with foods. For a woman, you want to have them linked to her menstrual cycle. Usually, most migraine sufferers, by the way, are women. So you want to link it to the menstrual cycle, and you want to link it to foods. And the only way to do that is to chart. When I talk about doing food diaries, when we talk about food, that's really about charting. If you go to a doctor and you're if you're in the hospital, I should say, the doctors and the nurses in the hospital will chart everything in your condition. They'll chart your blood pressure. They'll chart your electrolytes. They'll chart your psychological things. They'll chart everything. And that's how we want to look at, when it comes to doctoring ourselves, we want to chart. Does that make sense, William? You follow me?
Absolutely.
And everybody listening, That's what it's about. You got to collect the dots before you can connect the dots. So you collect your data. You need data. You need information, and that comes from writing things down. With migraines, they tend to be periodic, so things trigger them. And so you want to know what your triggers are. Usually it's going to be a food, or it's going to have something to do with your hormones. So assuming that there's going to be both, first thing you want to do is you want to eliminate the problem foods. Then you want to start to support the digestive system. Eliminating problem foods, supporting digestive health is your job number one when it comes to migraine headaches. And supporting digestive system, I'm talking about stabilizing your blood sugar, and I'm talking about improving how your body handles fats, because that's where estrogen breakdown, or that's where estrogen buildup occurs, is in gallbladder problems, liver problems, intestinal problems, probiotics. This should be your focus for migraines. Number one, eliminate problem foods. Number two, get on digestive support supplements, including the sweeties, including nightly essence, including ultimate niacin, including ultimate enzymes, including apple cider vinegar with your meals, including more fiber, including ketogenic diet. You see where we're working here, okay? Now, as far as fat metabolism goes, bile salts, digestive enzymes that have lipase in them. You can also use lecithin granules. All of these will help support estrogen metabolism. Now, keep in mind, when I'm talking about estrogen, I'm also talking about reproductive cancers. I'm talking about PMS. I'm talking about PCOS. I'm talking about lots of things. So you're not going to, all of these strategies are not just important for migraine sufferers, but also for people who are dealing with any kind of estrogenic health challenge, which are many. Numerous. Fibromyalgia is an estrogen issue. There's so many of them. So focus on the digestive system. That means blood sugar, working on fats, eliminating problem foods. And then she also might want to try something like progesterone cream, which can balance out estrogen, or pregnenolone. Magnesium can also be very helpful. Riboflavin, vitamin B2, has been used for folks dealing with migraines. I don't recommend just taking B2, but taking the entire complex with extra riboflavin as well as magnesium. And whenever you're doing magnesium, of course, you want to make sure you're doing your other minerals, including copper. Vitamin D, getting out in the sun. All of these can be very important. And when she feels a migraine coming on, activating the parasympathetic nervous system by the relaxation response, and that includes, of course, SDR, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. And then last but not least, she might want to try some CBD. Preventatively, that is just taking it every day to prevent migraines, and also once she already has one or feels one coming on. But if she doesn't correct the underlying problems, these kinds of pain relief or after-the-fact strategies are going to be less effective.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Okay, good deal. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Thank you for texting and reaching out. Appreciate it. All right, David in Pennsylvania, good morning. Welcome to the Bright Side.
Good morning, Ben. I had a question for two different people. One was a female, late 30s, that has psoriatic arthritis, and what to take to help with the
awful thing.
Condition.
It's an awful condition. Go ahead. And
then the second was in the mid-20s or young, 25s, about male with mono.
Okay, so for the first, the psoriatic arthritis, that's just so miserable. It's unspeakable. She's in her 30s, you said?
Late 30s, yeah.
Yeah, that's just terrible. And here's the thing about psoriatic arthritis. It is a harbinger to an early demise. It is a precursor to an early death. It is not just awful as you're having it, it degenerates. The only thing the doctor can do for you is give you an immune suppressant to shut down your immune system. That's all they do. It is ludicrous. It's absolutely, nothing is more emblematic of the utter failure of the medical model than how they treat these autoimmune diseases like psoriatic arthritis. Psoriatic arthritis, for the listeners who aren't aware, is psoriasis plus arthritis. And the arthritis that you get is a real severe form of it. And the psoriasis tends to be a real severe form. It's a severe problem. It's much more than cosmetic. It's absolutely miserable. It's, again, autoimmune disease is food and digestion related. And you don't need a study to show this to you if you understand biochemistry. If you understand the mechanism here that we've talked about countless times on this program behind autoimmunity, you know more than the representatives of the medical model who do not treat it at the biochemical mechanistic level. The mechanism of autoimmunity, of psoriatic arthritis, including, among other autoimmune diseases, is toxicity that gets into the blood through the digestive tract. Toxicity that gets into the blood through the digestive tract, through the intestine. The intestine is supposed to process and vet anything that gets into the blood. The cells of the intestine are not supposed to take things into the blood that aren't supposed to be into the blood. As our body and our intestine and our intestinal cells become weak over time, things leak into the blood. You've heard it said called leaky gut syndrome. A syndrome is a whole bunch of things that happen in response to one cause. Autoimmunity is part of leaky gut syndrome. It's one of the things that happens following the one cause of a leaky gut. So what you got to do is you got to patch up the gut. And again, I've said this a zillion times. I'll say it again. Don't take my word for it. If you're serious or your friend's serious, David, and by the way, with all due respect to patients who are suffering, I have, in my experience, I hate even saying this, but this is just my experience. Take it for what it's worth. I have found that most people do not want to do what it takes to change, even if they have psoriatic arthritis. I'm not saying that's your friend, David. I'm not saying it's any one person. I'm just telling you, based on my experience, most people don't want to do what it takes. Now, that may be present company. I may be, present company excluded because you're listening to this program, presumably. I hope that's the case. But most other people do not want to do what it takes to change because it's so easy. And if she's really serious, David, you tell her to fast for 3 days or 2 days, and her symptoms will subside. I'm not telling you this as a hope and a prayer. I'm telling you this is a guarantee. Did you hear that, Dave? David?
Yes, I got you.
Do you hear how powerful that is? I'm guaranteeing it. Her symptoms will subside when she fasts, to the extent that she fasts. Now, can she fast forever? Obviously not. She has to start eating again. But then you got to figure out what foods are causing the problem. Now, it may be complex at this point because depending on how far down the rabbit hole she is, so it may be more than just eliminating gluten, but eliminating gluten is going to help. Eliminating grains might help. Eliminating dairy might help. Eliminating eggs might help. Eliminating beans and legumes and peanuts may help. I don't know what it is, but something is going to be there that she's going to find that makes things worse, and when she eliminates it, she's going to get better. Okay? Now, in addition to that, you also got to start strengthening the gut, like we were just talking. I mean, you guys, it's all basically the same thing. Strengthen the gut, support digestive, the health of the digestive system, how the body processes foods. And that means digestive enzymes and apple cider vinegar and nightly essence. And you've heard me say all these before, right? It's nothing new. It's the same thing. The tragedy of it is that we are led to believe there's nothing we can do. I'm telling you, David, stay in touch with me. All right? And let us know what this gal wants to do. Have her call us. And then for the mono, build the immune system. Ultimate selenium, ultimate zinc, lay off of sugar. Anything you do to build the immune system. Fucoid Z, Restart Your Life, the beta-glucan from Restart Your Life. We're out of time, bro. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Thank you to all my Brightside listeners. Appreciate all of you guys. Check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for all the longevity products. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We will talk to y'all later. Bye for now.